Melchi, talk to me.
Ready. Standing by.
Light it up.
This is Captain Cassian Andor, Rebel Intelligence.
There's spies everywhere.
Cassian Andor. I need all the heroes I can get.
You son of a bitch! I'm in!
We're so fat and satisfied. 10 men feel like 100. I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old.
A 6-year-old boy.
Hang on!
Hello and welcome to Andor and more. I am Travis Fishburne, and this is a show about the Disney Plus series Andor. And with me today is a very special guest, Mr. Chance Ellison. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, yes, thank you. I would be here, Dr. Andor.
Yeah. Wow, there's just a lot to get into. I would say, first off, what has been your relationship and experience with the live action Star Wars show specifically thus far?
Generally speaking, I've enjoyed them for the most part. They're not without their faults. It's coming from someone who I'm a massive Boba Fett fan. I like that show. I get it's got its issues, but I do like the show. Obi-Wan I really enjoyed. Mando I think is fantastic. Cassian was one that Andor was one of those, like, I was a little skeptical on, just because generally speaking, Tony Gore was kind of hit or miss for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked Cassian Andor in Rogue One, but the idea of him doing a whole show is, and much like Diego Luna, I think he's a really great actor. The idea of going into that character specifically was something that I was a little apprehensive about, because I didn't know what it was going to take. But I've been surprised by how much I enjoy Andor so far.
Yeah. I've been really digging this show. And I know it's been getting, like, some weird flack here and there for not being quote-unquote Star Wars-y enough, and that's just kind of like a silly thing to me. I don't get it.
I mean, it's what I like about what these Disney Plus shows are doing is that we're seeing a very different side of Star Wars. We're seeing, like, the more scaled down, the boots on the ground, gritty, like, not real, but, like, we're not seeing any, like, major fantastical characters for the most part. We're seeing, there's, like, your average everyday person who's just, like, in this situation of being, in a Star War, and, like, how they react, what's going down there. We can see a lot of criminal underworld stuff, which I think is really fascinating. And yeah, I think that Andor is really a continuation of that, where it's not really about, like, Jedi, the Force, Sith, like those like non-factors here. This is just a case of, it's really more of like a character, like, war study show.
Yeah. And, it's an extension of what they originally wanted Rogue One to be. Because from what I've heard, the stories of Rogue One was, Gareth was told, hey, go out and make a war movie. And then he came back and they're like, oh, we didn't mean a war movie.
Oh,
we meant,
not like this.
Yeah.
Not like this.
We meant a Star Wars movie. And, it's nice to see a show that kind of, like, leans into that war aspect, the espionage, to the extent, like, that a lot of the Imperials in this episode, I felt were, like, it leaned heavily into, like, them feeling like Nazis more than, like, ever.
And you even see that with when that character, I can't remember his name, but the one played like Ebon Moss Backrack, where, like, he was talking about, like, when him catching, like, trading story about how they were both in juvie, and I guess, like, what the Empire does when you're in prison is, like, they tattoo, like, a barcode on your chest.
I guess so.
Which, like, very reminiscent of, like, what Nazis did to Jews in the Holocaust.
Yeah. No, that was all really interesting thing, because that's, never been really, dove into. So you got that tattoo, you got the tattoo that's the hand.
The one on his forearm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you got that going on. And I also love a good heist, and I'm
I do too.
excited about the thing that's going to be coming up next week. And you just like recently watched the most recent two episodes,
I did.
and I feel like you can probably feel it, the way that they have structured this show. Like the first three episodes kind of feel like a mini film with their own set of characters, their own locations, and then once they get to episode 4 and then this one, and I assume the next one, it feels like another like movie in and of itself where they're sticking to the same crew and the same locations, because from what I've heard, they're kind of like going to be breaking the season down into 3 episodes arcs. So I
Yeah,
think
and
after the next one, it'll
the second season, which will be the last season, was
Mhm.
already said that like, every 3 episodes is going to focus on 1 year of Cassian's life
Yeah.
leading up to the events of Rogue One. So I feel like it's a very intentional thing. I also think it's very fascinating because it reminds me a lot of the Justice League cartoon that was on Cartoon Network back in the early 2000s. Because every one of those episodes was like a 2, 3, sometimes 4-parter. So like you could have like your cast of character, your self-contained story, and like hey, like you're here for a week. So and I think that enables them to not be hampered by like also like at the same time not be hampered by a long time goal, but also you can also like rotate a lot of new characters. You can try some new different story beats.
Mhm.
It gives you a lot of freedom as a creator to come in and just put your own stamp on the series as in general.
Yeah, exactly. Clone Wars function in a very similar way.
Clone
And
Wars, same way.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why I went to Justice League, not Clone Wars, but yeah, Clone Wars is literally the same thing.
yeah. So it's the formula is already there. So it's nice to see that in this show where they have longer seasons to work with, that they're doing that kind of a thing. And
It also gives you a good sense of scale because, like, something like because you talk about Clone Wars, something that a good thing about the way they structure their episodes, like you were always taken to different planets with new characters, you're introduced to new places, new people, and it gave you a sense of how expansive this Galactic Civil War really was.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I mean, it gives the show some weight and shows some scale, and also, takes Cassian. It gives the ability for Cassian to go and basically go just about anywhere and see just like how far the reach of the Empire goes.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So this has been a lot of setup this episode for the heist to come. So next week is when it'll get really like interesting, but I think it's still fun to see like the setup of a heist is just as interesting as the heist itself in most cases. However, I feel like we're kind of being kept in the dark as to what exactly is going on and what they're planning to do. You get the idea, but the
It seems like they're like hijacking a weapons cart
mm-hmm,
from this whole you know this Imperial stronghold.
yeah,
But like but, like they're very vague about it. I'm not sure if it's intentionally vague because like we're not supposed to find out. Kind of like Amanda episode 1, we're not supposed to find out like what it
mm-hmm,
is we're stealing until like we actually get there.
yeah, yeah, like that. Breaking Bad would do that with
It would.
certain episodes where they'd be like, we're planning this thing, and you're like, I get I kind of the basic idea of what they're doing, and then when you see it all unfold on screen, you're like, oh, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so we've got a lot, of setup there with the actual Andor plot. The other, I'd say the heavy character is good old Cyril Karn himself, and he
But,
gets
but something that like cracked me up this episode is that like you see him get home to his
mhm.
mom, played by I cannot remember her name. I feel bad because I do like that actress quite a bit. Hang on, this is gonna bug me.
Oh wow, I don't have it in front of me.
Crap! What the who the hell is this? Okay, but when is she was Mrs. Fig from the Order of the Phoenix, and she was also in the Tragic Impact,
Oh,
the Coen Brothers one. She's
Catherine Hunter.
Yes, Catherine Hunter. Thank you. Yeah, she's a phenomenal actress. Funny thing, something that cracked me up about this episode is that uh like we see like them sit at the table, then they cut away for like 20 minutes to cut back. They're still at the table.
Yeah. Yeah, a whole
Like
episode at the table.
he spent the entire episode getting scolded by his mom.
And it was just so weird, shout out for the first, episode of Star Wars to canonize cereal other
Cereal.
than the Admiral Akbar cereal.
Wow, Admiral Akbar cereal!
Uh,
Which is funny because like I literally like Googled like right after this like Andor cereal just to see if it's a thing we can buy because they really should try to market the cereal and sell it.
they really should.
I'd buy a box.
I think anybody would. I wish I had a prop with me because a few years ago at one of the celebrations, this is back when they used to like actually give you stuff like swag for free for going to the panels. And one of the years was you got to collect little boxes of cereal for every panel. And it was all different branded cereals. And so I've got like Naboo Berry, and it's got Jar Jar on it.
Nice.
Forget
Applejack's.
This is before the sequel, so.
Oh damn.
And one of them was the Admiral Akbar cereal, but yeah, they would absolutely have whatever the Cyril Karn cereal is. And when that happened, I'm like,
Cyril Karn pops.
it is just so weird that like the thing that helps me remember this character's name is it sounds like cereal. And then as soon as like
They're eating cereal.
he's eating it, I'm like, this is weird.
This is strange.
But yeah, she's talking about calling in a favor for with one of his uncles. Then he says he doesn't even know if like the guy's gonna remember them. So it's gonna be interesting to find out who this guy is, because it's
Yeah. Well, I think the thing to remember about this episode is the title and the quote from the. Crap! I really should know this guy's name because I do like him as an actor.
mm-hmm.
Hold up. Who is? Oh yeah. Avril Skeen. Ebon's character. Because the title episode is the axe forgets.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole theme of this episode is how it's basically the crux of emotional scarring. And actually, I think that reminded me of you've seen the Street Fighter movie, right? One with Van Damme.
I'm gonna be honest. No, I have not.
You never seen it? Really?
I've seen so few Van Damme movies. I think I've seen like a total of 3. But yeah, Street Fighter's not one of them.
There's a line in that movie that isn't great, but like Raul Julia's M. Bison's really great in it. But there's a line in the film where he's like, "The day M. Bison raided your village was the most important day of your life. For me, it was Tuesday."
Yeah.
And that's kind of the central theme of this episode, where just like it's how much you can affect somebody's life without even realizing it. Because when Cassian was talking to Avril about his pistol that he got, he's just like, I don't like. He's like, he's so Imperial, because to Cassian, Cyril he's just an Imperial, but now to Cyril, Cassian is like the most important person in the galaxy because he's the guy who essentially ruined his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the same time, it's all about like how like organizations like this can just wreck the lives of all these people and not even realize. Like kind of like Avril was talking about, where like the Empire just kind of like scarred him and just like made the Empire his central focus. But in actuality, they probably don't know who he is.
Yeah, no, that we see that all the time, and like there's so many revenge movies about somebody who wants to take revenge over like somebody who's very powerful or a corporation, and like they're like, I don't even know. Like in Endgame, when Wanda goes after Thanos, and Thanos is like, who are you?
Who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think it's a fascinating thing to look at, because you also see like in other things, because like you look at again with Cyril and his mom, the way that like she kind of like emasculates him without even realizing, but like it has like a great effect on him as someone who like he was in a good position, because he's on Coruscant and they live really low, which tells you that they do not have a lot of money because they live super close to the ground. But you see like looking up at the sky and like, or looking up at a reflection of the sun of another building, and it's like it's just like realizing how much he's lost and how much he's like how much he's reverted back to like his child self and how much he wants to get back to where he used to be, where he was important, and Cassian's basically the one that ruined that for him.
Yeah. I'm just like honestly, Cyril is like the character in this show I'm the most fascinated by. I do really love Stellan Skarsgård's Luthen.
He's great.
Just
Yeah,
because
that's
I love the actor and I love the performance. But as far as just like, who is this guy and like what's the trajectory of their character and their arc? It's like Cyril. Like what's gonna happen with him? Why are we following this? I'm really interested.
Like, I don't know if he's gonna be the main villain hunting him down. I don't know if he's gonna end up joining the resistance or the rebellion at some point.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gonna be fascinating to see like where he ends up through all this.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we will find out what's going on with him, who his this uncle character they're talking about. I saw some speculation that it might be revealed to be Luthen, or
that makes sense actually.
If it's depending on like which version of Luthen it is, whether it's the one that pretends to be the dealer on Coruscant, or the actual.
I feel like it's that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like very few people actually in like his actual life actually know he's part of this whole rebellion.
Mm-hmm.
Also, did you notice that like with his wig on, he totally looks like Palpatine?
Oh no, I didn't think about that, but yeah. That's interesting.
It just things that stood out to me, just like, oh yeah, he looks like Palpatine with a wig on.
That's the hairstyle on Coruscant when you want to be a rich, powerful white man.
It makes sense. I mean, if you're gonna style after anybody, style after the most powerful dude in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm. Put it in Vogue.
Oh yeah, hell yeah! I buy Star Wars Vogue.
You're gonna see a lot of people getting face scars now, trying to look like old Emperor Palps.
No, yeah, like face scars, electrical burns. If anybody knew what Anakin Skywalker looked like under the mask, they'd all have eye scars.
Yeah. Oh my god. All right, so we got that going on, and then yeah, we get a little scene with Luthen at the end, just talking about things that are to come, whether it's beginning, or it'll all be over tomorrow, or something will be just beginning. Yeah. And
well, I mean, that's him basically kind of alluding to the whole heist, because like he knows if it goes wrong, there's a good chance that like somebody's coming for him.
Mm-hmm. And if it goes right,
it could still happen. it could still happen, but like at least they're in the positive. At least they're in like the positive section of this whole rebellion coming.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the show does also a great job of just like building towards things, because you had that for those, like we talked about those first three episodes, building towards the appearance of Luthen to begin with, and then you have like these two like just spending time setting up this whole heist that's coming, and like just really getting you into the characters, getting you like prepped and ready, and just I think the show's like paced really well, as opposed to another big budget's IP based show that's going on right now.
We won't talk about that.
We won't talk about
People
that one.
People can guess what it is.
Yeah, I mean, if you're watching like nerd television right now, you probably know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's this. I think this show is paced like really well. I do credit. I didn't realize that Dan Gilroy wrote this one, not Tony.
Yeah, Tony and Dan are both working on it.
I knew they were both working on it, but did he write the episode 4 as well? Because I know Tony wrote the first 3.
I do not.
He did.
Yeah.
He did write the first.
So that makes sense. Yeah.
So I guess this section Dan is writing.
This whole arc.
Which helps, because like it does feel like a very unified voice in the in the story structure.
And little Rogue One connection, because Riz Ahmed was a Nightcrawler that Dan Gilroy directed.
He was right. Good pull. I think. No, he was in the Fifth Born, which not have anything to do with. Never mind, forget it.
Yeah, and then we also get a little scene with Mon Mothma, and we get some more into her really terrible home life, and we find out that she has a daughter,
which I never do. I was just like I didn't know my mom had kids.
No, didn't know she had a husband. Didn't know I feel like every episode They're like, you think you know Mon Mothma? We're gonna throw something else at you. Like, next
Yeah.
episode it's gonna be like, oh, I bet you didn't know she was a grandma too.
she has an older kid who
Yeah.
also has kids. We find out she's like secretly like 70 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm impressed with how interested I am in Mon Mothma, which is a character I've always liked, but I've never had any strong inkling towards. She was just like, she for a long time she was just many Bothans died to bring us information, and that was it.
Yeah.
But now we're getting more of a personal life. We're seeing her whole rise to power as the leader of the resistance, or sorry, the rebellion. I keep calling it the rebellion. And
It's the same thing. They
it's
swap the
fascinating to see
name.
it's fascinating to see just how much, well, like where she comes from, because it does kind of establish that I'm guessing she's highborn, at least or at least very close.
Mm-hmm.
But she has money, she has a husband, she's a family. She has a lot to lose by going in and trying to take over and trying to overthrow the empire, which I think makes her more interesting, just because she's someone who could have easily sat by on the sideline, but she was like, you know what, no, this is wrong. I'm going to do the right thing and just fight these oppressive assholes who are fucking over all the entire galaxy.
Yeah, and just the relationship.
But I will say, it is straining her family life like Tom Brady refusing to retire.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah, it's just so weird, like the family life aspect of hers, in which her husband is just a real asshole, and
Yeah.
I
Which
just
I'm
don't
very
get it.
curious.
And he doesn't seem to be.
I remember that scene where he planned that dinner with people who just hate her.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do? Why'd you do that?
That he doesn't seem to really know at all what's going on, because he asks later about something that's obviously implicating what she's doing with it's not officially the rebellion yet, but it's going to turn into that. And she's like, it's just like this charitable thing. You'd hate it. You've got a
Setting
black
up
heart.
fake foundations to funnel money away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I also do think that it's kind of parallels the story between Cyril and his mom, where it's like, I think her husband kind of feels emasculated in his own house, and so something's gonna happen to spark him, set him off, and then we're gonna see basically the destruction of Mon Mothma's family. And maybe he aligns with the Empire. That's why she hasn't told him anything.
I feel, that's got to be it.
Yeah.
And her daughter, or at least that's what it's feeling like, and that's, oh boy, whenever that's gonna go down. I also noticed that from a hair and makeup and costume standpoint, her husband and her daughter both wear kimono type things, and his hairstyle, it feels like I'm watching a Kurosawa film when I'm looking at those two
very
characters.
feudal Japan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which obviously Star Wars draws a lot of inspiration from that. It's just weird to put villainous characters to a certain degree in that regard.
I mean, the dude's got a man bun. He's up to no good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what else we got? We also have, some of the Imperials. They want to take the day off so that they can see the Eye of Aldhani. And that felt very much...
thing I'm not familiar with.
Yeah, that's the thing that was set up in the last episode that they're using...
that meteor shower.
As the cover, yeah.
As the cover, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And their superiors, it felt very much a Christmas Carol, and he's Scrooge, and he's like, fine, but the next day on the double.
You have to be here extra early.
Yeah, Bob Cratchit.
Yeah. But I do think that something the show does really well is the fact that it's basically showing how we're kind of at the genesis of a lot of things, because the Empire is not really at full strength yet. It's at half strength,
Mm-hmm.
and the rebellion is just starting. So you see that a lot of these things they're not really coming together as well as we know that they will, because it's it's a new process. Nobody really knows what they're doing. Like when Cassian was talking about the whole, the thing they're trying to get out of him, just like, you don't know how to get off the ground, do you? And none of them do. Just like, what are we gonna do if I didn't show up?
I would have
and-
really loved to have seen the episode that was
The
Cassian
Star
list,
Wars-
where it just
The Star Wars
they
What
fuck it
If,
up.
where they try to do this without him. Yeah, but also like you see that the Imperials also fighting with themselves because you had that one who's trying to get jurisdiction in that other planet where the box was found,
Mm-hmm.
and that other dude's not letting him. Like, no, I got this. You go away.
Yeah. The other thing I love about that scene, from a costume standpoint, is the Imperials are wearing the black uniforms, and I'm sure, yeah, I think we've seen it in Rebels, but like as far as live action goes, I don't think. I mean, you've got the First Order and stuff and the sequels, but in any of the shows and stuff, I can't remember the last time I've seen that black Imperial uniform that to me is very reminiscent of A New Hope. So it felt very A New Hope seeing those officers.
Sure, yeah. We haven't really seen.
So most of
someone
them
rock
were
those
gray.
direction.
Yeah, gray or green is what they're
Yeah.
usually wearing.
Or like white.
That's yeah.
Yeah, no, we never really see the black uniforms.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like the Stunmo and the blasters. Like we see them like once every 30 years
Mm-hmm.
until Disney Star Wars. We saw them all. We saw Stunmo all the time.
Oh yeah, they are using them all the time in the Bad Batch because they don't
Bad
want to show
Batch,
killings
Clone
on in the kids show.
Or use them a bunch. Yeah, I do love a good stunt mode though.
Yeah, and then the only other thing we got in this episode is we got the Velsartha character, also doing her own research into all the goings on, all of the.
I feel like she's gonna find out about Cyril, and she's gonna recruit him to kind of go rogue, and he's gonna see that it's gonna be like his one big chance to get back in good with the Empire because he technically was an Empire. I think people know. He
No,
wasn't
yeah.
technically Empire. He was in a system that operated under the jurisdiction of the Empire, but they were still allowed to operate amongst themselves. It's only after he royally screwed up
Yeah.
that they came in and took over. So I feel like he's gonna see it like as his way to get back up top.
Exactly. She is the Ray Liotta to Cyril's Seth Rogen and Observe and Report.
Jesus. Yeah, sure. That too.
I would love to see Jody Hill make a Star Wars show.
Yeah. Would McBride be in it?
Oh, of course. That's a given.
But yeah, no, I'm like this because she came in relatively late. I mean, comparatively, as you would think of for a show, you would think all the main characters are going to be introduced within the first couple episodes, but she came in like 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
Exactly.
she's basically Cyril, but if he were already in the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they're gonna meet up and they're gonna be the ones to hunt Cassian, to try and hunt Cassian down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw another theory that because the other we got a dangling thread of the thing that started the whole series is Cassian is searching after his sister. Somebody thought, oh, what if Velsartha is his long lost sister, which I think would be interesting. However,
Does he mean like metaphorical sister? Because they look nothing alike.
exactly. I'm like, she does not look anything
The
like.
same parents made those two kids.
No, yeah. That I don't know.
That'd be a little strange, but yeah. I totally forgot he was looking for his sister until you brought this up.
Yeah. So it's gonna happen eventually.
Eventually, we'll get a resolution to that.
And somehow they'll retcon it so that Jyn Erso was his sister, and it's gonna really make Rogue One feel weird.
Especially towards the end, we're just like, oh, well, I guess this. I mean, I know it worked in Empire Strikes Back, but
Yeah. Star Wars We see your House of Dragon, and
Yeah,
we
this-
raise you
Like,
in
we
Andor.
were doing this way before you were.
The great incest wars of the 2020s.
The better incest show. 2022 has the dragon or fucking Andor. Oh man, that's bad. That's bad.
All right. Well, I don't know if we really have anything else to kind of like go over in this episode. I don't know if you have any other thoughts, theories.
Well, something I do think is interesting is because like something that just reminded because I watched the movie again recently. Something this whole casting coming in this group of freedom fighters reminded me a bit of, I don't know if you got the same thing. Reminded me a bit of The Matrix. Or like Neo's coming in, he's learning in all these new, like he had to leave his life, he's learning in all these like new ropes and new tricks of the trade. But they're trying to organize like this big heist. Thing is though, one of them ended up being Neo's ended up being a traitor.
Yeah.
So I do wonder if there's somebody on this crew that can't be trusted.
Got a Joey Pants in the group.
Yeah, who the Joey Pants is? I feel like making it Avril would be too easy.
Yeah.
I also feel like that one kid. I feel like he's toast.
Yeah. No. You said that, and I'm like, oh, that little kid, that Karis Nemec kid, he's the mouse from the Matrix.
Yeah, he's Karis. Karis is totally mad, and he's toast. Like he will not see the credits of the next episode.
Oh yeah. No, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm just very curious to see like if an axe is gonna drop with one of these characters to find out like they were working for the Empire the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be fascinating though. I want to see how this whole heist plays out.
Yeah. No, as do I. And then what comes afterwards?
Yeah, I feel like the next set of episodes, either the next one. Well, I mean, there's only two sets left, but I'm willing to bet the next one is where K2 comes into play.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel like we'll get him at this season. I just don't know if I don't know if they're saving him for the last arc or the third arc. I'm betting on the third arc. I feel like we're gonna get K2SO in one, and then the other one we're gonna get Saw Gerrera. I feel like they're gonna end with Saw Gerrera though.
Yeah, Saw Gerrera I see happening. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think we're gonna see K2 in this season.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Interesting. I feel like we'll at least get. Well, they'll at least end with him finding K2.
Yeah, I could see them end. Yeah, with some kind of a. Here, I mean. I don't know the full story, but I do know that the story of like him and K2, meeting and everything has been told via the comics, and it does frustrate me that like that has already been told, and we're gonna see how much they feel like they have to, hold themselves up to that.
How much they adhere to those?
Exactly.
I never read those comics. So
No,
I just don't know.
nobody did. Everybody's watching the show. Nobody.
Somebody read the comics. I was watching it play out live. Who just send to read?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like we'll get K2 this season at some point. If not this next arc, then the one after, probably in the last episode.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see, because I feel like at first K2 and him, like K2 just has to be like programmed, with like all of his Imperial programming to where he's like trying
what
to.
What if they're stealing?
Yeah.
Yeah, what if the thing they're stealing is K2 and like he's on, or like not that they're stealing, but like what if he's on the ship?
Could be. Yeah.
That they're trying to jack.
Yeah. Oh, then him and B2 Emo have to fight to the death over who gets to be Cassian's droid companion.
The droid of the show. I mean, we know who wins. I mean, B2 Emo doesn't have arms.
Oh, what would be sweet is if I just thought, like, what if, B2 Emo gets like damaged somehow, and he has to take B2 Emo's, parts,
his consciousness,
some of his consciousness, and puts it in K2.
Put it into a new droid. That'd be fascinating, actually. Yeah, because we never really see that. But I mean, we saw it once with L3 and Solo,
Yeah.
which has mixed results. I'm personally fine with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like we never really see like because like droids are living beings, so there's no reason like if you keep replacing their parts or keep like like uploading their memories and consciousness into other units, like could they be immortal? is the
Mhm.
question. So yeah, I think it would be fascinating to see like if like if they do turn B2 emo into K2SO.
No, that'd be a sweet thing to happen.
Yeah, interesting.
All right. So, until we see that happen, I think we're going to just go ahead and start wrapping things up here. And until that time, Chance, where can people find more of you?
Find me on Twitter, Instagram at ChanceWars_91. To the podcast, Notorious by Chance. We are in our Scare Fest. Our theme this year is the Monster Mash. And we're starting with our vampire movie that is The Lost Boys, which is going to be a lot of fun because I do love that movie. You can also find me on the PJ Campbell Network on the PJ Campbell Show and also on my own show, Left Side Strong Side. If you like football, we break down all the action of the football season. And yeah, that's about it for me.
Oh, sweet. How is the NFL season going thus far for you?
Well, not considering my team was like 1-3, not great, but
All right.
it's been interesting. I can say that it has been interesting.
Oh, very cool. And for myself, you can find me at Travis Fishburne. You can find the show at Who Watches Podcast at gmail.com, at Who Watches Pod on Twitter. Make sure you check us out where we stream live every week on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook for some reason. Keep fighting you, Facebook. Fix the way you're doing things. And so until next week, hold on, where's my thing? Stay fat and satisfied, everybody.
So fat and satisfied.